Good morning theatre fans and welcome back to my channel. So today, the 27th of October, I am currently up early and I'm off to Cardiff to catch the train to London, as the trains are not that reliable to and fro from London from where I live. So I am off to London for the weekend for a 3-show 2-day trip. This afternoon I am off to see 42nd Street at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, followed by this evening I'm going to see Company at the Gielgud Theatre, and tomorrow I am off to see Scott Allen's The Distance You Have Come, starring Dean John Wilson. All 3 shows I've never seen before. Very much looking forward to having a couple of days away in London, seeing some new shows, but I am going to have to head off because I have to catch this train and got to get to Cardiff first. So I'll see you in London. Okay, and welcome back to the review part of my vlog. Now, as you have just seen, I went to see 42nd Street at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane. And anyone who knows me knows I absolutely adore a tap number, and this show is certainly no exception. It is full of them. I was in my element, and I'll say from the cuff, I absolutely loved this show, and I cannot believe that it has taken me this long to go and actually see the show. Sadly, it was when they announced that they were going to close that I actually got myself into gear and actually went to go and see the show. And I wish I'd gone to see it sooner, because I don't know if I'll have an opportunity to go and see it before it closes. Although there is rumours of it being filmed, so fingers crossed that will happen. But yeah, I really wish I'd gone to see this show sooner. But nevertheless, I did get to see it, and it was outstanding. Just a really good, happy, feel-good show that I do believe everyone needs to go and see. So the story of 42nd Street is of a director, Julian Marsh, who is putting on a very grand, spectacular show. Now, he's already got his leading lady in the form of Dorothy Brock, who is a very big diva and very difficult woman to work with, and she thinks she's above everybody else, so much so that she doesn't actually want to audition for the role, that she just expects to get it. Julian Marsh wants her to audition, which she does, but she's not the best singer, and she's certainly not the best dancer, as you will see throughout the whole show. But nevertheless, she gets the role. At the same time, a young chorus girl called Peggy Sawyer comes to audition, but sadly is too late. She bumps into one of the leading men, who tells her that he could get her into the show as long as she goes on a date with him. A bit of a smooth talker. She agrees, and she auditions and gets the part in the chorus, and actually shows everybody what actually fantastic dancer and singer that she actually is. So as the show goes on, then towards the end of Act 1, they're rehearsing for all the big numbers, and Peggy Sawyer gets accidentally pushed by one other dance member, who accidentally then trips over Dorothy Brock, the leading lady. She falls over and actually ends up breaking or twisting her ankle and can't perform. So in Act 2, then Dorothy Brock blames Peggy Sawyer for her dismay that she can't go on with the show, and the show has to be cancelled. And so Dorothy Brock ends up hating Peggy Sawyer, but it's not Peggy Sawyer's fault at all. So Peggy Sawyer then instantly gets fired and decides to go back home to where she lives. So Julian Marsh, and the director, then is persuaded by many of the company members to say that she is such a fantastic dancer and singer that she could actually take on the lead, because she knows the role so well. There's only 2 weeks until the show starts. And so Julian Marsh then rushes off to try to stop her leaving by going to the train station. She's umming now whether to come back, and then the whole company comes on stage to sing a huge song, Lullaby of Broadway, to try to persuade her to come back, which she does, and subsequently then she becomes the leading lady of the show and becomes a huge hit. And so that's the main story of the whole show. Now, there are side storylines that intertwine throughout as well, including Dorothy Brock, who's having an affair with one of the cast members, as well as Peggy Sawyer's on-off relationship with Billy Lawler, who is one of the leading men in the show as well. So that's quite nice to see different storylines happening at the same time as well. But this show was incredible. The choreography, the dance numbers, the songs, the costumes, the lighting was just phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. Now, I saw the matinee performance of 42nd Street, and there were a number of understudies performing on this particular afternoon. Now, I was thrilled and pleased to, and relieved in fact, to hear that Bonnie Langford was to perform as Dorothy Brock. Now, I have been a huge fan of Bonnie Langford ever since I was a child, when I saw her, I think first of all as a sidekick to the sci-fi TV series Doctor Who. Subsequently, I've seen her in many other TV programs over the years, including EastEnders and Dancing on Ice. But I've never actually seen her perform on stage, so I was absolutely thrilled to hear and see her on stage in this show, and she was outstanding. So her portrayal of Dorothy Brock as this very stuck-up diva was brilliant and so unlike her as a person. I managed to catch her after the show when they were out in the foyer raising and collecting money for charity, and she had time for everybody, and she's such a nice, genuine person, and I felt like we were talking for ages, but it was only probably a few minutes, but we chatted a lot about the show and my love for tap dancing, and also being a fan of hers as well. And she had time, even though there's so many people around, she had enough time to actually stop and chat with whoever it was that wanted a photo with her, and to stop and chat. And she was a genuinely nice person. I'm so thrilled I actually got to see her perform and actually meet her after the show as well. So that really was a huge highlight for me when I saw this show as well. So the understudies that we had was the role of Julia Marsh, which wasn't sadly played by Tom Lister. I've heard really good things about him through social media, and I'd like to have seen him perform, but nevertheless we had an understudy and he did a fantastic job in the role. Sadly, this cast is very, very big, and I can't for the life remember who played who now. It is in my photographs if you actually go onto my Instagram. Also, I think I would have put it in the video before this review part as well, so it's worth maybe going back and having a look as well on that to see who I had. But the understudies we have was Julia Marsh, Pat Denning, who is like the choreographer of Pat Denning. It wasn't actually played by Matthew Goodgame, sadly. He plays the dance captain of the whole show, and he starts the opening show. And also we had Abner Dillon, who was played by Bruce Montague on here, but sadly he wasn't on either. He's married to Dorothy Brock in the show as well. He wasn't on. Sadly as well, there were a couple of ensemble members who weren't present, who I've seen other productions, and I would have liked to have seen them perform again. Sadly, it wasn't to be, but nevertheless, it didn't take anything away. I thought these understudies did a fantastic job, and if I hadn't looked at the cast board, I would not have realised or known that anything less. It was a very, very polished performance by everybody in the whole cast. So the main actors are Dorothy Brock, as played by Bonnie Langford. Julia Marsh, unfortunately, wasn't played by Tom Lister. You had Peggy Sawyer, as played by Claire Halsey. She was phenomenal. She was absolutely brilliant. My goodness, her tap dancing, I thought there was smoke coming from her tap shoes at one point. She was that fast and quick in the dancing. Obviously, I know I'm being exaggeration here, but she just... I was in awe. I was absolutely in awe. And then we had Billy Lawler, as played by Ashley Day. Now, I've seen Ashley Day in a couple of other productions as well over the years, and he was fantastic in his role. You could say a bit cheesy, but I think that's what the character is meant to be. He just held himself on that stage, and I thought he was fantastic in his role. And his rendition of We're in the Money was outstanding, and thoroughly enjoyed that. Now, I'm not going to go through all the cast members, as this production had many, many cast members. So much so that this program is actually full of cast bios and photographs, and is actually quite a thick program as well. There's nice quality to it as well. I do like a good program, and normally there are two programs. You have the souvenir brochure, and you also have like a small cast brochure, but they only had the one, and I think it was about £5, £4 or £5 this brochure. Yeah, it's lovely. It's not embossed, but it's very shiny, very smooth. Lots of photographs, lots of biographies of all the cast members. Look at that. I mean, the production photos are of the 2017/2018 cast members, who have got a variety of different, because obviously the cast changes have taken place over the past couple of years as well. But yeah, lovely program. And yeah, going back to the cast, they were just phenomenal. I was in awe of all the dance numbers, and everyone really worked their socks off. They just, from the moment the curtain went up, which was a big tap number, to the very end, which is also another huge tap number, they did not stop dancing. And the costume changes were were just phenomenal, and just it was one big wow spectacular show. I'm just lost for words. So I sat in the front row, so I sat in AA14. I wanted to be near the front for this show. It's my kind of show. Tap numbers, dance numbers, big productions. I wanted to see it all. Now, I'm very reluctant about sitting in the very first few rows because sometimes you're too close to the stage and the stage is normally too high. But in the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, the stage is actually quite low down. So being in the front row, you are actually at level to the stage. In fact, it might be a bit lower. So you get to see all the feet and also you have the pit in front of you, so it doesn't feel that close either. So you have got a bit of a distance. Now, I had read some reviews seat reviews before going to see the show, as to when I booked the seat, not to sit behind the conductor, because the conductor box does come up and down for you to cheer and clap along with him, but it can be quite distracting. So I wanted to sit a few seats to the side of him, so I sat to the left as you face the stage, about a few seats down, and it was perfect viewing, just the right height. I would certainly sit there again. It was a bit tight for I'm quite short, I'm only 5'4", 5'5", and even I found the leg room between my seat and the barrier to the orchestra pit to be quite tight as well. But nevertheless, it didn't actually take away anything in the enjoyment from the show. Just a little bit of just had to shuffle around a bit to get a comfortable position, but no, I would certainly sit in the seat again. Now, I have heard also they're going to be closing after 42nd Street to have a refurbishment, so the seating plan may change. How much so I don't know, so I won't know until they reopen and maybe reassess where I will sit in future productions of whatever I go and see in that theatre. I hope I will, but yeah, sitting in that seat was great. Normally, like I say, front rows can be a bit restricted, but no, not for the Theatre Royal. So if you are considering sitting in the front row, do so. It is, you won't be disappointed. It's except for maybe sitting behind the conductor, which you may want to sit just slightly to the edge or to the side of him as well. So onto the spectacular production itself. I don't know where to start. The costumes were absolutely beautiful and stunning. The sequins, the attention to detail on all the costumes were incredible. There's one dance number, unfortunately I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, where you actually have an array of rainbow colours. All the ensemble ladies are in a U shape, and all the colours just blend in the pastel colours, like from reds goes into the blues to the greens to the yellows to the pinks to the purples and greens and so on. It was just stunning, just a feast for the eyes. You didn't know where to look. It was just so much to take in. And the set itself was spectacular. There's things coming left, right and centre, up and down. Everywhere you looked, there was something all the time, and it felt like classic, the old-fashioned 1940s, 50s big productions, and it did not disappoint at all. The costume changes were so quick and varied as well. Very period drama, which is I love. The choreography, the dance routines were insane. The majority of it obviously are tap numbers, and what I loved being at the front as well was the majority, I can't say all, but from what I could see, the majority of the cast members all had tapped mics. They had microphones going down the back of their legs down to the feet, so they could pick up the tap numbers. If you sat further back, you wouldn't see those. But sitting so close, you could see the attention to detail. And I've always wondered how the tap noise the noise from the taps would be so enhanced. Was it maybe some microphones on the stage flooring? They got special flooring. I'm not sure. They probably do. But I did notice that a lot of, especially the leads who were dancing, had microphones going down the back of their legs to pick up the sound of the tap. And there's something magical about hearing a tap number. It's just... And then towards the end, there's these steps that come out from the back, and they all march up, tap, 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 come up the top, and they all go down the front. And you're just in wow, you're in awe by it. And they have this huge dance routine. I think that's the picture that's in this program. it's the sort of finale of them coming down. These stairs come out and they come up the back and they come across the front and down and into position, and it's just watch the trailer. It's brilliant. I keep repeating myself, but it is absolutely fantastic. So let's talk about the songs as well. Very memorable. A lot of them I already knew before going to see the show. I actually haven't got the soundtrack. It is in my waiting basket list on Amazon, which I do need to purchase, but I will get it at maybe at Christmas. I'll get it then. But some of the songs I knew from over the years anyway, including obviously the 42nd Street number, We're in the Money, Lullaby of Broadway, let's have a look, Keep Young and Beautiful, Go Into Your Dance. Now I only knew that because I was in a show recently and it was sung and we danced to that. But yeah, a lot of songs, a lot of ones that I knew anyway, all toe tapping, all good fun. They were sung brilliantly, and I've got to say as well, the orchestra, wow, fantastic. A big full-on orchestra in the pit. They were just phenomenal. I mean, I love an overture, which this show does, and you're just washed away and bathed in the music throughout the whole show anyway. And I thought they all did a fantastic job to complement the actors on stage as well. So there's another wow factor in the show where the ensemble ladies are dancing and they all lie down on the floor into a circle, and this mirror comes down from the fly tower, and they do a dance routine on the floor, and the floor revolves as well, and you get to see it all in the mirror, in the reflection. It was stunning and beautiful and breathtaking. It reminded me very much of Springtime for Hitler in The Producers, and that was another wow factor as well. This whole show had a lot of wow factors and kept you on your toes because you didn't know what to expect, and I was looking forward to so many things happening, and it did. It was just phenomenal. I can't rave about this show enough. My only sadness is that it is actually closing on January the 5th, and I certainly would urge everyone to go and see it before it closes. I wish it wasn't closing, but it is having a refurbishment to make a way for another production coming in. I don't know what that is yet, but we'll soon find out soon. But yeah, if you get the opportunity and the chance to go and see the show, please do it. You will not be disappointed. It is a feel-good, classic, old school musical that is okay, may have a simple story, but it's really, it's 2.5 hours of pure entertainment, and let it wash over you, enjoy it, be in that moment. So anyway, that is my review on 42nd Street. Did you go and see it, or are you going to see it before it closes? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this show because I absolutely loved it. Did you love it as much as me? Maybe you didn't, but I'd love to hear. So leave little comments down below. And if you like this video, please give it a little like. And if you want to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button as well. I post regular videos on my trips to the theatre. I visit London as often as I can. I'm based in South Wales, so I get to see a lot of productions on tour in Cardiff as well. So I've got plenty more shows coming up later this year. So that's all left for me to say is thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, happy theatre.